someone like Rahul Gandhi does it against Hindus, it's free speech. Bharat Jodo Yatra was more of a Congress Todo Yatra. He is trying to do what the Britishers had done. US and Europe should do anything to get into India and remove Narendra Modi and establish Rahul Gandhi so Indian democracy could be restored.
Definitely. He made a statement saying that the Muslims in India, they are targeted currently the way the Dalits were in 1980s. I would say, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think he is comparing ED and CBI with Pakistan's army.
Well, a leader of Congress comparing India to Pakistan.
He demeaned Indian culture. He said that Sengol is a mere distraction. Yes. A symbol that was supposed to be, that would signify North and South unity, that he is calling as a mere distraction.
Remembering the video conferences, he had a particular one with Kaushik Basu, the professor at Cornell University. What he had said about was Indian foreign policy.
Yes.
That it was unclear and non-inclusive. So I think Rahul Gandhi needs to learn more about India's foreign policy and matters in geopolitics before commenting about it.
Definitely. While going back to the UP in 2013-14, I guess, the unemployment rate at that time was 4.9%. So he is not quite familiar with the statistics, and he just keeps on narrating such statements, giving it in his foreign visits, trying to portray India in an image, in a way that the employment or unemployment is the reason why so much of anger and hatred is happening in India.
Well, I don't know when did Rahul Gandhi took his economics class. The Modi government schemes are people-centric rather than a community-specific, as Rahul Gandhi tries to portray that they are, favoring a particular community and persecuting another one. Yes. The ideology of non-violence was actually, finished off by none other than our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru himself.
Rahul Gandhi has been targeting the institutions in India. Yeah. So how can he not target the RBI as well? Hello everyone, I am Shreya and you're watching the Pamphlet. As we all know how Rahul Gandhi has been the torchbearer of anti-India forces, both at the home ground and of course at the abroad as well. And we've seen how his visits and his itineraries all have been kept under a very tight wrap by the Congress party. But lately, over the past few years, all his agenda, all his demeaning of India abroad, it has come out in the open, of course. And that might be, of course, because of all the aversion and support that people around the world are giving to our incumbent Prime Minister, that is Narendra Modi. So today I have my colleague Yash Rawat, who has written various articles and he's covered various issues about Rahul Gandhi's foreign visits. And we'll be having a discussion about how Rahul Gandhi has been drumming these false narratives that is hurting Indians and it is showing India in a very bad picture.
Thank you, Shreya. Well, of course, Rahul Gandhi has launched a very malicious campaign recently in US. He had a US visit for, I guess, 1 week or 10 days. And he gave many statements there. Some statements were false. Some were very controversial. And, some statements were such that it provoked societies in India. And it would have caused social disharmony, which would, which would be bad for India. And Shreya, you have covered a video on that.
Yes, like you talked about his malicious campaign. So we know how we saw he met certain personalities. He met certain personalities who were linked to these organizations when he visited US, the current visit. And those organizations and those personalities had linked with organizations with like Pakistan's Jamaat-e-Islami or Lashkar-e-Taiba. There were even associations like IAMC or ICNA. And all those organizations, some way or the other, they are funded by George Soros, Open Society Foundation.
Yes, of course, everyone knows who George Soros is.
Yes.
He's the person who is responsible for changing governments abroad if they don't agree with his ideological, his ideology. And George Soros, he recently even had said that, Narendra Modi is bad and should be removed from India.
Yeah, he has targeted the democracy of India and our Prime Minister as well. So now, like we talked about how in his US visit, Rahul Gandhi, he met certain personalities. And even at one of his meetings, I suppose, he even made a statement saying that the Muslims in India, they are targeted currently the way the Dalits were in 1980s.
What is happening, for example, to the Muslim community in India today happened to the Dalit community in the 80s.
So stating such giving such a big statement without any facts, because I guess he is not quite familiar with the historical dates. Because just to clarify, 1980s was the time when his grandmother Indira Gandhi and his father Rajiv Gandhi, yes, they held the positions as Prime Minister of India. So quite an oops moment, of course.
So there were many oops moments actually in his US tour. If I remember, he had said something about Bharat Jodo Yatra, that why Bharat Jodo Yatra was done by him. He had said that government is using political instrument to target political parties in India, and government did everything possible to stop the Bharat Jodo Yatra. And if we clearly look, Bharat Jodo Yatra was more of a Congress Todo Yatra.
Definitely.
Many veteran Congress leaders such as Ghulam Nabi Azad, who were with the Congress party since decades. They left the Congress and formed their own party. So, that is also a question mark on Rahul Gandhi.
Definitely.
And he is boldly claiming in the US that his government did everything to stop that his political yatra. To be honest, government should have been like, we are not stopping your political yatra. Let it go, and Congress would be dismantled by itself.
And how can we forget about C.R. Kesavan?
Yes.
Even he left the party around the same time, and he is, as I know, he's the grandson of C. Rajagopalachari.
Yes, definitely.
Definitely, they have been in the party from like decades, and now they are leaving the party at such a time when the aim behind the motive behind the yatra was to unite India. And what is happening? It's basically a Congress Todo Yatra, as we know.
So he basically did many statements over there. And one which was, I guess, he joked about PM Modi, said that he was a specimen. In Hindi we say namuna.
Yeah.
And
a specimen of hatred, arrogance. That's what he termed.
And he basically equated PM Modi with God, or what?
No, he said that
If you sat Modi ji down next to God, Modi ji would start explaining to God how the universe works. And God would get confused that what have I created?
Basically, a language of a Twitter troll.
Yes.
He's a leader of a Congress party. He's an MP. Oh, sorry. Well, he's a disqualified MP right now. But still, he's the leader of the oldest political party in India. So how could he behave like that?
And he's unique a personality, such a prolific personality. In fact, whom the leaders around the world look up to. His policies, maybe if it's his foreign policies, his decisions about India's economy or the trade or maybe the humanitarian aid that we give. People look up to him. So calling him a specimen is not quite good on the part of such a leader.
Well,
I would say.
Criticism should always be appreciated, but you should never cross that line.
He, in fact, crossed that line when he demeaned Indian culture. He said that Sengol is a mere distraction. Yes. And we know Sengol is basically, it's been a symbol of the transfer of power that happened in 1947. We know it's been a symbol. And that symbol was given to Pandit Nehru when he was supposed to take oath as Prime Minister. But as we all know, of course, even he did not take it as that symbol of unity that it should have been. He kept it. We have seen an image where that Sengol is kept as a walking stick. It's called a walking stick, and it's kept in the Allahabad Museum. So a symbol that was supposed to be, that would signify North and South unity, that he is calling as a mere distraction.
Well, it's like Rahul Gandhi doesn't understand our history, our culture. Sengol is not just a stick. It's basically it's our civilizational, it's culture. It's our legacy. So how to demean that? It's like it's denouncing all of that.
Yeah, he's gone quite further in that aspect as well. He's said that PM Modi, he's being quite inclusive one. Like he said that he's promoting Hindutva, or Hindus are the reason why the communal violence is happening in India.
Yes.
So that's quite a big statement, and he's made the statement, I guess, in London as well during his 2022 visit. I guess he made that statement as well. He is particularly targeting the Hindus for the communal violence.
That's like generalizing a whole community, and it is actually very problematic. Same thing if someone would said about a particular special community, there would be riots, I would be cancelled, and there would be Twitter trends against me. So but if someone like Rahul Gandhi does it against Hindus, it's free speech.
Yes, free speech. So yes, of course, in London only, I guess. He said that he targeted he's been targeting PM Modi. Now he's targeting the basic structure of a democracy. He said that the mics of the MPs are generally shut off when they speak.
पार्लियामेंट में हम बात रखते हैं तो देखो क्या करते हैं, माइक ऑफ कर देते हैं ऐसे.
So that's speaking. Okay, it's fine, you give statements, but there should be certain facts behind it as well. And there has been absolutely no reports that say that the MPs' mics are shut off when they speak in the parliament. Of course, yes, if you try to create a ruckus, if you try to disrupt the proceedings of the House, then the speaker has that right. But even, I guess, the Lok Sabha speaker himself, he said that there has been no such incidences where the mics of the MPs were shut.
पर अपन को सदन के बाहर ये भी टिप्पणी नहीं करना चाहिए कि अध्यक्ष महोदय माइक बंद कर देते हैं या हमें नहीं दिखाते, ये भी टिप्पणी करना उचित नहीं है.
He has invited the foreign powers to come intervene in India because he said otherwise Indian democracy would collapse on a global scale.
Well, he basically had said, if I remember, that Indian democracy is necessary for the globe. It's like if USA would let Narendra Modi rule in India, then it would be catastrophic for the world. Because, if US and Europe should do anything to get into India and remove Narendra Modi and establish Rahul Gandhi, so Indian democracy could be restored.
Definitely. And likewise, we've seen how he has made certain statements about the minorities being persecuted, specifically the Muslims, like he talked about, like we discussed before. On the similar lines, he said that even the Sikhs are being persecuted.
Yes.
So another, of course, historical fact, stating a historical fact without being clear about the dates, that shouldn't happen. Like we know how after Indira Gandhi's assassination, Sikhs were massacred, I would say. That was a genocide of the Sikhs.
Yes.
Even in fact, there have been certain reports that say that the Congress workers, they had these electoral sheets with them where they marked the houses of the Sikhs just to make sure that not even a single one is left.
Well, after Indira Gandhi's assassination and the whole Sikh genocide, Rajiv Gandhi himself had said.
Yes.
What he had said, जब कोई बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है,
तो पूरी धरती हिलती है.
Well,
something like that.
That was basically an affirmation that they had done the Sikh genocide.
Definitely.
The claims by Rahul Gandhi on the minorities that they are being persecuted is very usual. Another very consistent claim is that the institutions in India, such as the press, judiciary, parliament, election commission, they are all rigged. RSS is behind all of them. BJP is, influencing them. It's basically like we won't believe anyone.
One organization called the RSS, fundamentalist fascist organization, has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions.
The MPs which are sitting in parliament, they have come into, after being elected.
Yeah, he's making a mockery at such a high institution like the judiciary that is independent. And we've seen how in our constitution very clearly we have demarcated all the powers. And he is mocking at such a high institution of authority.
It's a contempt of
court, I would say. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Not only institutions. If I remember last year I had said about the India, that India is not a union.
It is a union of states which has come together as a very negotiated pact.
Negotiated. It's like a deal. So for Rahul Gandhi, India is formed by 28 states, 29 states.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not a nation for him.
Definitely.
Basically. So, it is a very clever move by him. He is trying to do what the Britishers had done.
In fact, he is even demeaning the efforts that Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, such a big personality, during his time, he is berating his efforts that he made when he amalgamated more than 500 provinces that he amalgamated into a single border, into a single territory.
International border.
Yes, definitely.
And ironically, on the other side, he tries to, unite all the regional parties. If I remember, he had said something about that the regional parties are not good. They are not uniting against BJP. So basically, he should, try to look within himself. Is he capable of leading all the regional parties or not?
Like he's talked about these opposition parties, that all of them should come together and just to destroy the institutional framework. He has basically called out the opposition parties to do that.
Well, with the recent things on CBI and ED.
Yes.
Yeah. With CBI and ED, I remember he had said something in comparison to Pakistan.
Yes.
That
the deep state, the CBI, the ED, the stuff that is hidden is now chewing the Indian state. It's eating the Indian state. Much like what happened in Pakistan.
PM Modi is using CBI and ED to destroy, India.
Because he's used words like ED and CBI, they are chewing the Indian state.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know, I might be wrong, but I think he is comparing ED and CBI with Pakistan's army.
Well, yeah, he had said that, Modi is trying to, make India into Pakistan.
Yeah, but sorry, that is, I guess he is not seeing the news these days. As we have seen how Pakistan, it is a failed state, I would say. How it is failing on all the fronts, whether it is economical, whether it's socially, and currently, of course, the political front as well, it is failing there as well. And comparing it with Pakistan, it's quite a very tragic statement, I would say.
Well, a leader of Congress comparing India to Pakistan because it's, as she has said, it's a failed state.
Yeah.
But moreover, that is basically a rogue nation, a nation which is killing its minority.
Definitely.
My Hindu minority.
Yeah. So, in fact, we have seen how he had, I guess, a conference with Nicholas Burns in 2022. He had a video conference where he said that Narendra Modi has been making unilateral decisions, and that is specifically creating a negative impact on Indian workers, especially the migrant workers.
During the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, but how we have seen during the COVID pandemic, when the world was suffering, it was suffering on all grounds. India at that time, it came up with some very good policies, like there was this Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana, that was a 50,000 crore package that was for these workers who had come back to their homes after the lockdown period. Many other Yojana, I guess there was a one on the free package as well, free food package.
The free rationing scheme.
Yes, free rationing scheme. That was, I guess it was Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana.
Remembering the video conferences, he had a particular one with Kaushik Basu, the professor at Cornell University. What he had said about was Indian foreign policy.
Yes.
That it was unclear and non-inclusive. He said it at a time, 2021.
Yes.
India was, it was perfectly managing the COVID crisis.
Definitely.
It was giving vaccines to other nations.
Humanitarian aids.
And if you can see right now, we are in the middle of, a war. The whole world is, suffering with inflation, and India is perfectly, seaming through it. And
how can we forget S. Jaishankar in it? When we talk about foreign policy.
Yes, of course. Who can forget statement of S. Jaishankar when a Western journalist, questioned him on Russian oil imports. He had perfectly, presented India's point of view that we are purchasing it because it is cheap. It is our interests. So I think S. Jaishankar is one of the best foreign ministers we have ever got. And to question him is basically, saying just to get political mileage.
And of course, furthering his statements on foreign policies, he even went on to glorify China's global vision. He said that it is basically a modern Silk Road with a nervous system. So I don't think so. He's quite aware of what the impacts Chinese initiative of Border Road Initiative.
Well, talking about BRI, because my forte is foreign policy and I should say geopolitics. So I don't know who taught Rahul Gandhi what's Chinese foreign policy. What he had said, it's the global vision, Chinese global vision.
Global vision.
The first thing is, I can see that there is a clear Chinese vision.
I think he should just have done a Google search. What is BRI and what is it meant to?
And how it is encircling India.
Yes, it is basically an extension of Chinese dreams of global expansion. If a conflict happens in South Asia, China, with its BRI, it would be able to encircle India.
Definitely.
So, it is actually a very dangerous plan, and he's calling it, he's complimenting it. Yes. So, I think Rahul Gandhi needs to learn more about India's foreign policy and matters in geopolitics before commenting about it.
Definitely. So, yes, another favorite topic that Rahul Gandhi keeps on narrating wherever he goes in almost all his foreign visits. Even if it was Germany or Bahrain, he says that employment is the tool. Why so much of anger and hatred is happening in India, among Indian people, of course. So to give him a little statistics on it, so there was this recent survey that happened by periodic labor family survey that happened, and that said that it basically compared the data of the unemployment rate of the NDA and the UPA government. So it has given these statistics that the unemployment rate, it was like 5-year low of like 4.1% in during the NDA government. And while going back to the UP in 2013-14, I guess, the unemployment rate at that time was 4.9%. So he is not quite familiar with the statistics, and he just keeps on narrating such statements, giving it in his foreign visits, trying to portray India in an image, in a way that the employment or unemployment is the reason why so much of anger and hatred is happening in India.
Well, I don't know when did Rahul Gandhi took his economics class, because he, if I remember, in a foreign tour, in an interview, I guess, he had said that the reason for rising terrorism or radicalism in the world is because they do not have jobs. Basically, they don't have rozgar, so they are turning into a path of extremism. If I remember correctly, Osama bin Laden had a PhD.
Yes.
So I do not know what Rahul Gandhi means by that statement.
Definitely. And of course, he keeps on saying that the current government is dividing India on the basis of caste and religion. He keeps on saying that statement as well. That is another one of his favorite topics to say, except of course the unemployment one that we just talked about. Yeah, I guess he said this statement in Singapore, Bahrain, and I guess in London as well. So I guess he doesn't know that the current current policies of the government is focusing more on the development and not on the religious lines that he keeps on saying.
Well, if I will talk about a particular yojana or scheme about the Modi government, Ujjwala Yojana, where they give incentivized cylinders to the BPL families.
Yes.
They do not look that those families are Muslims, Hindus, Sikh, Parsis or Christians. They just give them to the below poverty line people.
Yes.
So it is, if you look onto it, the Modi government schemes are people-centric rather than a community-specific, as Rahul Gandhi tries to portray that they are, favoring a particular community and persecuting another one.
Yes, you know what I think? I think he made this statement that the government is trying to channelize the fear of the jobless into the hatred of communities. So I guess it is he who is channelizing the fear of these jobless to create this communal unrest in India. Because I don't think so there is any such problem that he is portraying, that he is going abroad and he is making such statements. Well, there is no such.
Well, of course, Congress, it is popular actually to promote rule, divide and rule of the British era government. So I would not be surprised if Rahul Gandhi is basically, reattempt at that. He's doing a reattempt at that.
So like you talked about how Rahul Gandhi has been targeting the institutions in India.
Yeah.
So how can he not target the RBI as well? Like he talked about demonetization policy in 2016 that happened. He said that
Someone had given me a file with demonetization written on it, I would have thrown it in the dustbin. That's how I would have rolled it out. I would have rolled it out in the dustbin and out through the door.
It is actually, it's a hobby office. If I remember back in 2011,
yes,
2013, when he had tore up an ordinance paper.
Yes.
It was a bill basically.
Yes.
He had tore up in live conference. So, Rahul Gandhi may have actually did that.
There were so many illegal means that these currency notes were used for.
Well, of course, he always likes to target demonetization. And I would honestly say demonetization, it enabled cashless transactions much more than we had before 2016.
Yes. That is what the statistics said, even the RBI statistics.
One other statement which Rahul Gandhi loves to make on PM Modi or BJP government is that it is anti-business, or it is just promoting 100 companies. He had said way back in 2016 or 17 that PM Modi is only promoting top 100 companies and he's ignoring the rest.
And he keeps mentioning just two of them, as we all know about.
Well, now he just keeps mentioning the two of them. He has forgotten the rest 98 companies.
And he's even forgotten that how the current government has been able to promote the startup culture, the entrepreneurship, and even in fact, I guess last year as well, we crossed the 100 plus mark of unicorn, the unicorn mark. We crossed that. I guess we are in the top 3 list when it comes to the startup culture that we are promoting.
So, Shreya, we have basically covered all of his statements, but I would say one statement that he had made in 2017.
Yes.
2017, that BJP government, it is eroding the idea of non-violence, which was, popularized by...
That is under attack in India, non-violence.
It was popularized by Mahatma Gandhi.
Yes.
Now, onto that, I would say that the idea The ideology of non-violence was actually, finished off by none other than our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru himself. If I remember, just after 1947, there was a war with Pakistan.
Yes.
Pakistani invaders had launched a full-blown war. They had launched an invasion on Kashmir.
Yes.
So, to fend off that invasion, India had to send off its armed forces. You can't, practice non-violence in diplomatic and political matters or day-to-day government matters. It was just basically a motive or a form of protest. How you could, practice it into a normal day life. So it was, firstly it was removed by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And after that, we had so many wars where Pakistan tried to attack us, China tried to invade us, and we had to respond. And they had their response with violence. We respond with double violence.
So yes, as we know that our Indian culture always judges a person based on how it behaves outside India, how it behaves in a foreign land. And in case of Rahul Gandhi, we've seen, like we have just talked about, like we've just discussed, how at every foreign platform, he has demeaned India. He has tried to show India in a very bad picture.
Yeah.
He has always, his statements, I guess they're not in the national interest. Yes. And on the other hand, if we compare the visits of PM Modi, he has always tried to glorify India's image. So today's discussion concludes on this point that maybe Rahul Gandhi is not able to keep up with his or maybe the party's expectations, that maybe because of all the blatant lies that he is making, or maybe his inability to tell the truth. We will be coming up with more such discussions in future, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel.